Good morning, subscribers. Wow, that light's bright. And welcome back. And today I'm bringing you what is normally one of my most popular videos of the year, where I am looking forward and trying to predict what the likely topic areas might be for the A-level exams. Now, of course, this is not an exact science, and let me just put this out there straight away, that whilst I have a sort of association with OCR, I have no inside line on this, no inside knowledge whatsoever. This is just my best guess given what's been on previous exam papers. So let's just make that clear from the outset. So here we have it, June 2019 A-level thoughts. And in order to bring my thoughts together, what I've done is I've had a look through the June 2017, June 2018 papers, had a look at the various topics which appeared, and I'll show those to you in a moment. And then, based on that, I'm just giving you my best guess, really, as to what might be more likely than not to appear on this year's session. Now, of course, this is by no means an exact science, so don't just learn these topic areas, but you know, it's a fun thing to do as well. So, the first thing to consider is, well, what are the big topic areas on both the micro and the macro? So on micro, we're talking supply and demand, and the intervention of markets. Elasticity, it's a very big topic. Market structures is an enormous topic. Wage determination and the labour market, very big topic. And then obviously the whole notion of market failure, externalities, government failure, and all that jazz. So those are the 5 really big meaty sort of areas on the specification. So let's just have a look and see what's appeared in the previous exam sessions. Just scroll this down. So, in the June 2017 paper, the case study was all about the railway industry, very interesting one. It's a bit of a shame that really, because it's such a nice one to see and to work with, so maybe that's pretty unlikely to appear this time. But the questions were on privatisation, natural monopoly, price discrimination, and that whole notion of public versus private ownership, which you can imagine getting asked about in questions about the railway industry. So that was the case study. Those were the questions about the case study. And then here are the essays. So we've got demand and supply with regard to commodity markets. There was an essay on the national minimum wage. I'm sure you've all done these by way of preparation. There was the usefulness of perfect competition, and another question which was more a sort of businessy sort of question, which was an essay about the objectives of firms. So that was it on the June 2017 paper. And then in June 2018 we saw the case study was on tertiary education, so university education, costs, and specifically regarding the costs of providing certain courses. And the questions about that were to do with, again, public versus private provision, costs, external costs and benefits. Cost, that was more to do with manipulating your total fixed, total variable, total cost equation, just a 2-marker really. Price ceiling, so it was talking about whether or not there should be a cap on tuition fees. And then different charges for different courses. I can't remember, I think it was maybe English literature versus medicine. I'm talking about the fact, or asking the question rather, is it the case that English literature course should be cheaper and more affordable than a medical course? All sorts of things you could write for that. And then the essays, the 4 essays were buffer stocks, monopoly, market economy, and then elasticities. So that's what we've had to date. Obviously this is a course which is in its infancy, and you know that the specification's actually been redrafted for September 2019, a few months' time. I worked on that last summer, and I'll say a little bit more about that in a moment because it is quite important. So, ladies and gentlemen, here we go, the big reveal as it were. Here we go for the June 2019, what do I think micro? Well, I think Here's my best thoughts, okay? Case study. You might get one on labour market, housing market, commodities, income distribution or market failure. Those are my best guesses given what's gone before. And they're all fairly, there's been nothing really significant about the labour market as yet. Has there been something on the housing? Possibly on the themes paper, maybe. Commodities, nothing really. Income distribution, we had that on the themes paper, but nothing on the micro. And then there's been although we've had something on external costs and benefits with regard to university tuition, nothing on pollution and all those negative externalities and all that jazz. So that's an area worth considering. And then the essays, we've got oligopoly. Now this is my best guess here again. So perhaps we've had perfect competition, so maybe you'll get one on oligopoly or monopolistic competition. Perhaps you'll get an essay on demand and supply, which could of course then link into the housing market or the commodities market, something like that. And it's crying out for really an essay question on the labour market. It's always a lovely question to get something on the labour market, as long as you know your labour market diagrams. And the monopsony diagram there is a great one to know, because there's so much analysis you can do. And then maybe also, this appeared on the legacy specification, so the spec before the last one, and cost-benefit analysis. Now, cost-benefit analysis is, in my view, it's a great essay to do because the structure of an answer for it is so similar. If you look in the mark schemes for the legacy specifications, you'll see that year after year after year, CBA, it was always the same, although it was applied to a different cost-benefit problem. It was always the same structure for an answer. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I said I would mention something about essays. And I should have prepped this up before I started. I'll maybe put it in my macro video so that you can see it. But if you go to the OCR website, you'll see that the redrafted A-level specification for September 2019 is there. And when we were rewriting this, we were going through, obviously, every criterion in the specification and considering the relative merits of it, in terms of its inclusion. Now, I'm sure you know, having looked at the evaluate statements, the essay statements on the current spec, you look at some of those and you think, how on earth would I answer that? And indeed, that's what we thought as we were looking at it. And so I would advise, really, that when you're looking at the essays, have a look at the evaluate statements on this new spec. Because I think they're the essays which are more than likely to appear. The others, some of them are very, very obscure, and I have to say that I would struggle to write an essay for them, and I am a little bit older than you are. So have a look at that. If I don't reference it here, I'll put a link in the description below, and you can have a look at that yourselves. So I hope that's been of some use, and the next video, ladies and gentlemen, will be my thoughts on macro. Bye for now.